Hey guys, welcome back to the Honestly Jess Show. I'm your host, Jess, and as you can see, I am not alone today. I have one of my dear friends, Savannah Bender, with me, and we're going to be talking a lot about small business, entrepreneurship, whatever else the heck we end up yapping about, which is great. And so, Savannah and I met, honestly, we met kind of like a couple of ways.
Yeah.
Homeschool community that we both grew up in, mutual friends from that community, small business stuff, just living in the same town. And then she's introduced me to a lot of different opportunities. I've had the opportunity to work for Savannah many times. And so that's been a blessing for me. And yeah, I was like, I need you on the show because I need you to talk about all the things that you
Thank
do.
you.
Yes, yes. So could you give the people a spiel about yourself for them?
Yes. So I'm Savannah and I own multiple businesses, but my main focus is Savannah Michele Imaging. And through that, I have kind of two routes that I do. And I do social media management and standard photography, weddings, senior pictures, all that kind of stuff. And then also on the weekends, mostly during spring, summer, fall, I run a mocktail mobile bar. So we go to festivals and events around town. And we stay pretty local, but we do mocktails and lemonades. And that is where Jess can help me out sometimes. Working behind the bar, slinging drinks for me.
Mm-hmm.
I stay employing my friends. I try.
Yes, God bless.
And so, yeah, so I have some other like little side hustles and stuff, but those are kind of my two main focuses right now.
Yes, and they're so good. And also the main pictures for the Honestly Jess Show, like socials, those came from Savannah.
Shout out,
So,
plug.
yes, 100%. So yeah, we're just gonna jump right into things. So I made a list of questions, which you also have in your possession.
Excellent.
So we'll jump in with this because entrepreneurship, for one, is such a hot topic anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to have some sort of additional income stream. And usually they want to make it quick, but we know that entrepreneurship don't work like that. But it's also just something that's not natural to everyone. That is not the case for you. Entrepreneurship does seem to just come incredibly naturally to
I don't know about that, but maybe.
Well, it presents like it does. So, like, do you remember when that became sort of a reality for you that you knew you could do it?
I could do it. Well, that's actually hilarious because I was talking to my mom a few weeks ago, and we were talking about like how I've always been kind of an entrepreneur, and like I wasn't a lemonade stand kid, which is hilarious because I'm a lemonade stand adult.
Yep.
But my earliest memory of hustling is when I was literally like a small child, like 6, 7 years old. And I used to trade favors for chores with my siblings.
Hey.
So because I was the youngest, of course, like the probability of getting a yes from my parents, much higher if I asked.
Yep, true.
So it started with my siblings being like, if you ask mom and dad if we can like have dessert tonight, we'll make your bed tomorrow. And I was like, easy.
Yeah.
Like for sure.
Yeah.
And so it got to the point where I had like months of chores lined up because I had done so many favors for them, and it wasn't always like asking mom and dad. Sometimes it'd be like other things.
Yeah.
But I had like months of chores lined up, and my parents found out that this is what we were doing, and they shut down the whole operation. And I got so mad because I had fulfilled my half, right?
You did, yes.
Yeah, I fulfilled mine, and they still owed me. And I was like, no, hold up a second.
Yeah,
they are in debt. Yeah. Like, they're in debt, and you are shutting this down.
Yeah, I am the government right here.
Literally. And my mom the other day, she was like, well, it felt like kind of manipulative. And I was like, it's not manipulative, Mom. I was outsourcing. Like, I was literally outsourcing.
This was a business exchange.
Correct. And I didn't see a problem with it. No. And low-key looking back, I still don't see a problem with it.
You were innovative.
Correct.
You were ahead of your time.
Correct. So fast forward a few years.
Yeah.
I am far outside of having to exchange chores. I did, in fact, have to learn how to make my own bed. But in high school, I obviously did like the traditional babysitting and stuff.
Yeah.
But I did learn how to do cake decorating, and so. I don't remember when I started, maybe like 14 or something, and I started decorating cakes on the side.
Yeah.
And doing like engagement parties, birthdays, things like that.
I did this. Wow.
Yeah, it was super fun. It was like a nice little side hustle where I didn't have to take a job if I didn't want to, but if I had time. I remember I made this one cake for my parents because they were hosting like a marriage conference thing, and we had to make gum paste roses to cover the whole cake, and we made, I think it was like 80 gum paste roses.
I hate that
and
stuff.
I had like everyone involved, and it took us like 4 days to make these roses. It was so funny. But then that kind of led into me getting the job at the bakery where you and I worked together. And so that was how I was able to get that job, because I was like, wait a second, like I actually have this talent
I can do this
that we can use here. And then shortly after that, I started doing photography, and I bought a concession stand, or the rights to a concession stand, in the local auto auction right down the street here, King's. It's now going to be in Ingalls, but the King's auto auction. And so I went ahead and I bought that from a friend, like basically her supplies, like it was inside the building. And I started running that on like Thursday nights, I think it was. And that was like my first like weekly income stream coming in.
All right.
And from what she had, I expanded on that, and I started making more food and offering more like options to the guys there. And I think that was the first time where I was like, okay, I think I can do this. Like I think I could run my own business. And then fast forward, I graduate high school. I don't go to college. I'm like, I'm not going to go to college. I'm just going to be like self-employed. That's the goal. And then my dad left, and I wound up going full-time into workforce. But always running my photography on the side.
That's true.
And so, so we worked, I did Chick-fil-A, TJ Maxx, worked at the Biltmore Estate for a while. And that was my first job full-time in photography, was Biltmore Estate. And then, I actually have always had a passion for teaching. And that's what led me to Boys and Girls Club. Through our mutual friend, Kendall. And worked there for a really long time. And after leaving there is when I was like, okay, I think it's time I go full time. I don't want to get another job. I want to like give this a shot. And luckily, like I had a super supportive mom, and she was always like, if you ever need like extra support financially or whatever while you make this happen, like I'm here for you. But I mean, the Lord has been good, and it has been fruitful since day one, pretty much. I did have to kind of expand my business a little bit. And I think that is a huge part of being an entrepreneur, is just being flexible. And so that's when I went from photography to social media management, and kind of like staying under the same umbrella, but like expanding a little bit. Into something that I thought there was a little bit more demand for, but also would bring me consistent monthly income. And so, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. That was a lot. That was
no, but that was good. That's what I want. A lot. Because I didn't know about the concession stand either. Like maybe I did and I just forgot, which is highly possible. But which is so cool.
It was fun. I forget about it all the time. Like every now and then I'll be like running down a list of jobs that I've had, and there's like 40, and I'm like, oh yeah, I own a concession stand.
Like yes. Which is so good. And like it's definitely clear that there was like the Lord was building stuff in your life about this. And we kind of talked about it with the entrepreneurship class that you teach at the co-op that we also teach at. But what's the transition? This is an off the cuff question. What's the transition been like for you from that workforce mindset of like there is someone above you into the like, no, I am the tippy top? Because we talked about that with the girls of like, they're like, I don't know. And you're like, well, first of all, use Google. Hello. Like you have options. But like, what's that been like, especially since you do have more now, like on your plate than you did even when you started, you know, what, a year and a half, 2 years ago? So
2 years ago now. It's been a challenge for sure. Making sure I stay organized. There's not someone asking things of me. I have to be like the one motivating myself and also reminding myself. And also it's so important to know where you're going. I think when you're in a position where you're just working the job, you don't have to think about where the business is going, what the goal is, what the plan is. You just have to worry about what are my tasks for the day or the week or the month.
That's true.
And then the next month and next week or whatever, your boss will give you your new tasks or your daily tasks or whatever. And then, but now that you're self-employed, you don't know what those daily, weekly, monthly tasks are if you don't know where you're going. Like, what is the end goal here?
Yeah.
And so that I think was a huge shift for me, is having to define that end goal, especially in a world that is so like it's fluctuating so quickly, like social media and things like that. And so just having to make micro goals and also big picture goals, and then develop that plan and course of action each day.
Yeah.
And then also, like what we were talking about, the girls in classes, learning to educate yourself, like coming from especially the teaching job, like there's always workforce development. There's always what's the next class, the next certification you have to do.
Yeah.
And I was told what those would be, right? And then now I have to be really active and be like, okay, what am I going to teach myself, or what is my next education goal?
Absolutely.
So that I can stay on top. And for me, that's like YouTube University. Like,
yes, girl.
literally, sometimes I'll like go into Skillshare a little bit, but it's really just YouTube most of the time, and like making sure that I'm up to date on the newest trends and the newest technologies, or whatever that looks like for, you know, sometimes it's the mocktail. So like educating myself on, am I collecting taxes properly? Am I following the new health goal, like the health standards?
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. So
good stuff. So do you feel like that had any bearing on any mindset challenges you had when you first became like a business owner? And I mean, that could be, your business owner journey has been long, but like when this first really became the full-time part of your life?
Yeah. So, I mean, some mindset things, definitely. The biggest one, I think, for me was learning to say no. And I know people talk about that all the time, but I think when you're self-employed, it's so hard to say no to money. Like, you always feel like, oh, I have an opportunity to make money, I have to say yes.
Yeah.
And that's something I still fight myself with sometimes.
Yeah.
But like a big one is recently I've stopped saying yes to face painting.
Yeah.
Like, and that's such a small thing, but like coming from like an artistic background, people always came to me for face painting jobs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not photography. That's not mocktail. That's not lemonade. Like, I don't need to be focusing. If I have time to go take a face painting gig, I have time to focus and do something that has to do with my goals.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes when you're self-employed, you do have to take the hustle. Like,
yeah.
You're like, you know what, this month I lost a client and I need to make money somehow. But for most of the time, you can say no if it doesn't help you reach your long-term goals.
Yeah.
And part of that is learning to position yourself so you feel safe saying no. So for me, that meant, okay, how am I going to bring in monthly income so that way I don't have to take every single photography job that comes my way?
Yeah.
And so what that meant was, I'm going to be a social media manager monthly.
Yep.
That involves videography, photography. It still is leaning into those skills, leaning into the business goals, right? But also it positioned me to where I was bringing in enough income every month that I didn't have to say yes to every face painting gig.
Yes.
Every photography gig that didn't really pay what I knew I was worth, or what, it's not even what you're worth. I think that can be a toxic thing and a toxic mindset. It's like, I'm worth more. And it's like, sometimes it's not even like you're worth more. Sometimes it's like what you do is worth more money.
Yeah.
And it's just the fact that photography is a skilled like job.
Yes, it is.
Right? Just like carpentry, just like any other skilled trades, like photography is a skilled job. And because of those skills, like my time has to be worth something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, at the end of the day, bills aren't getting paid. And also people are taking advantage of you.
Yes.
And so I think sometimes if you're in the mindset of what I'm worth, that can lean either way. You can either be super toxic and be like, I'm worth so much money.
Yep.
Or you can think that you're not worth that.
Right.
So thinking more of what is this like job worth, or what is the average in this market, I think can sometimes take away the toxicity of that, and also the devaluing of yourself sometimes.
That's good.
And just like focusing on the actual job itself.
Yeah.
Because honestly, sometimes photography is worth more than social media management. Sometimes a lemonade is not worth what a mocktail is worth, but the time it takes is still the same amount of time, right?
Yep.
So it does vary, but like just focusing on like, what is the market value for this will help with that.
Yeah.
So going back to like the mindset shift would be like, if you have your focus on those things, you can say no to the things that don't help you stay focused on what your goal is.
Yeah.
So
that's so good. Because, let me see if I have this written down because I have a question that just flew to mind as you were talking. Okay, yeah, it's not on here. So, with the worth thing specifically, I was actually having a conversation about this with a friend from YWAM who I just recently reconnected with, and she's also a business owner. And one of the things that she struggled with, and she and I talked about it in the context of being missionaries. And so this kind of mindset of even asking for money is hard, even though you know you're going to do something that's like worthwhile for the Lord.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, especially in Christian circles, like people will talk a big game about wanting to support that, and then the money will not show up. Yeah. So then that kind of translates in our mentality into the business world. And I genuinely think I've struggled with this of like, oh, but like I do need to charge what this is worth, but it feels big and I feel nervous asking for it, knowing that like I'm attached to it in some way. And I think especially and because we live in a like smaller-ish town, we know a lot of the people that we work with. And so there's this whole other relational aspect of like, I know what my services are worth, what I should be charging for them. I feel like there's a weird expectation, and a lot of times maybe it's just in our own head, of what they think, and are they going to look at me funny if I give them a number and it's way too high in their mind? Like, how do you kind of bridge that? Is it just like taking a look at the market value and like learning how to have kind of a script to relay to people about like, here's XYZ, like why this is this way, kind of having like an internal FAQ almost?
Yeah, I think it varies like situation to situation, but I think where I've leaned in on my mindset is basically what is more important to me right now, the relationship or the money? And sometimes the answer is money, and that's okay, right? Sometimes you just aren't that close to somebody, right?
That's real.
Sometimes the relationship just isn't, the relational equity isn't there, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Right? There's nothing wrong with that. And so sometimes when I'm working with somebody, I have to ask myself, am I willing to maybe take a dollar amount off to show value to the relationship? Or do I need to show value to what I do right now?
Yeah.
I have many work relationships with people that I am very close to. And a lot of times those conversations went, this is what I charge. And I always tell my students this too, like, always know what you charge, right? It's so, you're putting yourself in such a bad position if you go into a meeting and you have no idea what you charge.
Yeah, that's so true.
Even if you make it up 5 minutes before you go into the meeting,
gotta have something.
Know what you charge.
Yes.
And sometimes what I charge changes depending on what the job is, right? Yeah. Like sometimes I know a certain job might be technically more challenging than another job, so I have to charge more. Yeah. Even though it might take like the same amount of time, or maybe it's, you know, within the same location or whatever, it might just cost more.
Sure.
But I do know that a lot of the times going into these meetings, I will say, hey, this is what I charge. You let me know what your budget is, and then let's go from there, right? Yeah. And I will say 9 times out of 10, they will 100% go with what you charge because they also value that relational equity.
Yeah.
Right? They value the relationship and they want to show you that they value it, and they're willing to pay. Yeah. And then sometimes they're very respectful and they can't afford it. And so the conversation goes, hey, I know that you're worth this much. Realistically, I can't afford this much. Right. So let's repackage what we're looking at so that it doesn't cause you nearly as much work, but I can still pay what I'm able to, right?
Yeah, for
and
sure.
So I feel like when you're working with people, you know, if you have an open line of communication and you're both being respectful, it's going to work out.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, if they're not being respectful of your time, is that really someone you want to be working with anyway?
Yeah.
And I think that goes back to being able to say no, right? Because there has been times where I've said no because I know that that person is going to put me in uncomfortable positions.
Yeah.
And that's not worth it to me.
Right.
And I do know that comes with maturity too. That was a lot easier for me to do now at 30 years old than it was for me to do at 22 years old.
Yeah, 100%.
And my goal is to empower my students in my class to where they can say no at 18 years old.
Yeah.
Right. And I know that that's not going to be the case. Like they're going to need a few years. but I want them to get to where I am now so much faster than it took me.
Right.
And sometimes I still battle with that. Like sometimes I'm still saying yes to things because of the relational equity.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes I am just saying yes to things because I know that that person means a lot to me, or their value in my life means a lot to me. And I just am going to say yes no matter what. Even if it doesn't pay any money at all, I'm going to say yes. But likely that's because, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in the past, they've said yes to me. Right. I had people in my life that were my old bosses and they had my back. And so no matter what they ask of me, I'm probably going to say yes. But I also know they're never going to ask anything of me that makes me uncomfortable or makes me feel devalued. So,
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Because I think it is one of those things that, like, no one wants to really talk about that piece out loud.
Yeah.
But it's such a necessary piece to talk about because I think everyone hits it at some point.
Yes.
And, like, nobody's going to grow if they don't talk about it. And there's that guy on Instagram and TikTok who goes around, like, or hangs around where all the billionaires are or whatever, and, like, always goes up to him. And it's always in Texas.
Yes.
I'm like, what is it about Texas?
You need to move there and make money, man.
Truly. Truly. But that's, like, most of the time their attitudes are really very like, yeah, I'm happy to share some information with you, because one, sometimes when I'm being super cynical, I'm like, they know we're not going to make it to where they are, and, like, that's okay. But they also know that there are tools to use and mindsets to have that help you get out of, you know, the kind of just, like, I don't know, you get off the hamster wheel that keeps a lot of businesses stuck and a lot of businesses failing. So kind of in that vein, because we kind of already answered, how is your growth as a business ownership with the mindset? Like, what is there, or is there anything that you've heard people, like, praise or hate on in the small business world that you're like, I would just love to call BS in either direction?
I feel like there's a couple things. Honestly, there is a couple things. The first one, and I think one of your other questions kind of has to do with this, but niching down. If I had $1 for every time I heard a YouTuber tell me to niche down, and I think that when you are at a certain spot in your business, you have the ability to niche down. But I think when you're building a business, sometimes you need to expand just a little bit because there's going to be, especially in a small town. Especially in a small town. If you're in a big city, then yes, there's enough demand for one specific niche that you can make money doing that. But when you're in a small town, there's just not enough. Like, if I was only doing weddings, right? There's a million photographers in this area, and there was not enough business coming my way as a wedding photographer for me to niche to just doing weddings. Right. And I tried for years, and I know that that has worked well for other people, and that's amazing for them, but it doesn't work for everybody. And so for a lot of people to put that blanket statement over every business and be like, niche down. That's like the hot word right now, is niche down. And I'm just like, that's just not realistic for everybody. And that's okay. Like, you don't have to feel bad because you couldn't niche down in your first several years of business. And, like, going back to the saying no thing, like, I am getting to a point where I am able to, like, hone in on those things, like, on my photography, on my social media. But, like, that took me 10 years to get to that point.
It was a road.
It was a road to get there. And so, and because I now have my monthly clients, I'm able to niche down a little bit. Right. And so, like, there are certain industries, and it depends on what you're doing in your entrepreneurship journey. Because there are certain industries where, there's going to be enough demand. Like, I have a friend and he washes windows, and that's all he does. Shout out Vincent. If you're in this area, hire Vincent. But, like,
let's go.
You know, and he's building that business, and he's a window washer, and there's enough demand coming up for that, right? And he's able to focus on that. I have other friends who, they do car detailing, and there's enough demand. So that's awesome. But in our area, there's not enough demand for photographers because everyone and their cousin is a photographer. Right? And so being someone who is a standout in the industry in a small town, it's going to take a really long time to get there. So niching down is a big one that bothers me. And then another big one is going back to the pricing yourself at what you're worth. That annoys me so much. Because everyone's like, oh my gosh, I'll be in the like Facebook pages and they'll be like, you only charge $2,500 for a wedding? Oh my goodness. No, you should be charging $6,000, $7,000. I'm like, sir, I live in small town America. Like, you may be able to charge $15,000 for a wedding in LA.
That's right.
I would even go as far to say in Raleigh and Charlotte.
Yeah.
Right? Sure. I would even go as far to say that. But in our small town, if I was charging that, people would look at me like I'm insane. Mm-hmm. And frequently I do get jobs because I'm not charging those insane prices.
Yeah.
And I will say I have package options, right?
Yes, you do.
So I have options that are higher value and higher price points. Mm-hmm. So if I get those bigger clients, people will be like, oh, you're going to lose those bigger clients. No, I have options for them.
Yes.
I have options for the people who need me for longer time periods, right? But I also have options for the people who are like, we're going to have a tiny little wedding on a Saturday afternoon, and this is our budget, and this is what we can afford. Yep. And I'm like, I can work with that. Mm-hmm. Because you know what? I'm not being ridiculous.
Yes.
I am charging enough that I am covering my overhead, and I'm making money, and I'm making enough money that I'm comfortable, right? But sure. I'm not charging so much. I don't need to make $20,000 in a weekend, right? Mm-hmm. I don't. That's ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
If I want to build wealth, yes. Will I do that? Yes. And if I get the opportunity to shoot a $20,000 wedding, 100% I'm going to take it. Like, don't get me wrong. But I do think if you are just taking advice from the people in the industry who are putting out the YouTube videos, who are putting out the skill shares, you're going to wind up pricing yourself out of your area 9 times out of 10. Mm-hmm. So just taking in the information you're receiving from the industry and also being realistic in where am I at in my skill level, for one?
Yeah. Yes.
Am I bringing $20,000 value to this? No, then you can't charge that.
That's right.
Right? Mm-hmm. And then also being realistic in my area, what is the average? And am I at the average? Again, am I at the average? Yes. There was a point where I wanted to charge what some of my friends were charging, and I wasn't as good as them. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't fair of me to ask a client to pay me what they were going to pay them when I'm not bringing that value to the table either. Mm-hmm. So just like taking that into consideration when you're an entrepreneur and being like, where I am right now, is it really this? I've had people tell me I should charge $15 for my mocktails. I'm going to be realistic. Where we live, I don't think anyone would pay that, right? I honestly feel what I charge is more than fair. Yeah. I feel like I make enough profit that at the end of the day, I'm not sad. Yeah. I don't go home sad. I'm not like this, but I make enough that I can cover all my overhead and cover my product. I can cover my employees, right? And I still go home with enough at the end of the day that I feel like I had a good day.
Yeah.
Right. Sure. And that's where I'm like, I feel good about this. Now, I might raise my prices in a little while, right?
Yeah.
Cost of things is going up.
Yep.
Cost of living is going up. So I might have to raise my prices, and there's room for that. Mm-hmm. But I don't feel like I need to be charging what you would pay for a mocktail at a music festival.
Right.
Like, I'm not at a music festival.
No, no. The people in our town are not ready for music festival pricing.
Correct. And nothing annoys me more than when I go to the state fair and I pay $12 for a lemonade.
It's trash.
That is trash. And you get like 4 sips.
You're like, that was actually just dirty water.
Literally. And so I'm like, I'm going to bring value, and I'm also going to make it realistic and affordable to the people in our area.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. And your area might be able to pay for more, right? If I was in Raleigh, I'd be charging more.
Yeah, definitely.
If I was in Greenville, I would be charging more.
Yes.
So just being aware.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think that's the key, though, because as you're saying, even having a mindset of like, you might be watching Skillshare, but you need to know like where you are at. Mm-hmm. I feel like half this battle is self-awareness.
Yes.
And like the ability to look in the mirror and be like, I'm not the ish.
Yes.
Like right now, I'm not there. I can get there, but I am not there today.
Correct.
So what am I going to do to get to be the ish for whatever I'm doing? Because there's so much of the information that's on the web that presents itself to you as like, you can just follow this checklist and then be there. But there are skills involved in all of these things, and skills have to be developed.
Yes.
So it's never just going to like work, copy, paste. So that's good. That's good. The people need to hear that. I need to hear that. Which is great because it leads perfectly into the next question. So for people like me who are multi-passionate, or my friend Alicia, who was on Substack, did an interview with me. She called it a multi-potentialite.
Love that.
It just sounds fancy.
I know. I love that.
I was like, I should put that everywhere. I'll embroider on something. Like, what's the best advice you could give on embracing the quality of the multi-passionate person, and stewarding it rather than trying to do that, like what we just said, niching down, when a niche isn't necessary.
Yeah. I think it comes on, there's like two sides of that. And the first one is, I think a lot of times when we're multi-passionate, and I've been so guilty of this too, is that we lack the discipline, right? And so I'm like, my newest thing is I'm renovating furniture and reselling it. And then I'm like not disciplined enough to learn how to do that properly. And like, I'm trying to like do that and I'm doing it like in a terrible way.
Yeah.
Like, and also it's like, I'm not disciplined enough to make enough things productive at the same time. And that goes to like me having to be like, I have all these things going on, but like, where am I really going to focus?
Yeah.
And that's where I chose photography, and then also the mocktails stand on the weekends. And it's just, I'm having a hard enough time being disciplined and organized in those businesses.
Yeah.
I don't need to have 5 other things going on at the same time that I'm trying to be like productive and profitable in all these different areas. And at the end of the day, they wind up just like washing each other out and overpowering each other. Or I leave clients hanging, God forbid. Like that's happened to where I was so like drawn in different ways that like a client over here is like being left hanging on something. And now I'm not only doing a disservice to myself, but I'm doing a disservice to them too. And that's not fair for them. Like it's not fair for them to take the hit because I can't focus. And so I think, and there, you have to remember too, like you can use multiple talents and gifts in the same zone. Like I am a photographer. I love photography. Okay, how else was I going to make money doing that gift, right? Go into social media, right? So I used my gift in different ways. And also I have to be a people person, right? To be a social media manager. I have to be aware of trends. I love being aware of like what's new and what's trending and stuff. I like that. And I think that's fun. And so how do I do that? Social media. Okay, I love being a people person and talking with people and making me feel seen and loved and cared for. How do I do that? When I'm shooting a wedding, I pour all of that energy into the bride. Right? I make her feel calm. I make her feel seen in that moment. I make sure that she feels beautiful no matter what. Like, and so I'm using my different gifts, my different talents in the same zone. I'm not trying to become a school counselor and a photographer. Right. Like I don't need to like create a different zone for each talent. Like you can hone it in, funnel it into the same area.
Yes, I love that.
And then the second thing that like really I have to hold myself back on so much, not everything has to be monetized. Not everything has to be monetized. Like I don't need to make money off of everything I do. And I think as someone who is a natural hustler, that is so hard. Like it is so hard to be at the thrift store and see something that I know I can resell and not buy it and resell it. Like, and sometimes I'd be doing that, but like, it is so hard for me to like start a new like hobby and be like, oh, I can make money doing this. I could sell these things, right? And so it's just like, and that's something over the last like 2 years I've had to just like really work on, is just being like, stop trying to monetize everything in your life. For real. Like, and I was like, oh, I'm a social media manager. I should also be a content creator. I should also like film everything I do because I can make money off of this. Like I'm in my kitchen making pancakes. Oh, I could be filming this. I could be making money off this right now. And I'm like, it's okay to just make pancakes. It is okay to just like, crochet. It's okay to read a book and not do a review on it. Like, you know, and I think for me as a social media manager, it's even like harder because all the other social content creators are like in my face constantly. And so I see that and I'm like, well, if they're doing it, I can do it. Right. And I don't need to. I have enough ways to make money in my life. And like, when you start monetizing everything, you also lose so much fulfillment in that thing.
True.
Like I get peace from reading books. I find calm in that. If I turn it into a hustle, I've now lost that. So where else am I going to get rest from? Right. And then like, if I'm monetizing everything, my Sabbath has now turned into my job. And then I lose my Sabbath. Right. And I lose my times of rest. So that's a big thing. As like an ADHD hustler, you don't have to monetize everything.
Just leave some money on the table. It's okay. It'll find its way to you somewhere else. That's such a good word though about the Sabbath thing. Rest feels nearly impossible for people who like to be productive. And I'm chaotically productive. I'm untested for ADHD, but like we got it. So to take something that like could be great as just like I can turn my brain off And like also stay smart since reading helps us. So like for the love of God, pick up an actual book. But like, yeah, that's so important
Mm-hmm.
because it really is everything you see. And I think it is so hard with the age of social media. Just it does feel like everyone and their mother has been able to make some little bit of money off something that they've posted.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one part of me that's like, how are they doing that? And how are they consistent enough with, especially for the people who have full-time jobs who are in the workforce somewhere,
Yeah.
finding that balance. But then they're like, and yeah, then I was able to transition into content creation. And I'm like, but what are you charging those brands? And I'm like, I've seen you work with like 2 brands. How on earth are you able to do that? And so not knowing all the behind the scenes and being like, maybe they have just taken every other thing that they've done. And like, I mean, everybody's got an Amazon storefront. And so like
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff too, which like I've thought about, but I'm like, also, I don't even shop on Amazon that much anymore. So I'm like, what am I going to put out there? So, because I haven't been trying to like nix big box things because I like Target. So I'm going to Target. But, and I like getting stuff from Amazon. Sometimes it is just like seriously convenient.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's.
I think like a big thing too, and you have to, when I said at the very beginning, it's like, what is your end goal?
Mm-hmm.
And my end goal for me is not building just insane amount of wealth.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Some people have that as an end goal, and they want to build generational wealth, and they want to have, you know, college funds for their kids and everything. Yeah. And I want financial stability. Right. And for that, if wealth comes with that and the Lord blesses me in that way, that's amazing. Mm-hmm. But my end goals have never been chasing the wealth. It's chasing fulfillment. Mm-hmm. And ultimately that comes through Christ. We know that. Yes. But I think he does tell us, you know, he does show stewarding what we're given.
Yeah, it gives us opportunities.
Being wise with our money, things like that, right? And so at the end of the day, I have to ask myself, is this going to just bring money and not fulfillment? Or maybe both, or fulfillment? If it's both, do it. If it's fulfillment, do it. If it's just money, that's when I say no. And so when I'm like, I need time in my home that's not filmed. Yeah. I need time in my home that's not focused on making money, right? And today I'm like sanding, refinishing this like piece of furniture for our living room. And the first thing in my mind is, I could be filming this right now. Maybe I should sell this when we're done instead of putting it in my house. And I'm like, no, I want to fill my home with things that make it feel like a home. Yeah. And this is for my home. I don't need to film it. It doesn't need to make me money. It can just be for my home. Yeah. And 50 years ago, 100 years ago, whatever it is, people had their job and they had their home. Their job made them money. Their job made them wealth. And then they went home at the end of the day. Yeah. And they didn't have a phone that could film everything they did to make money. Yeah. Right. And so having that balance where I'm like, I have my job, and my job is not being a content creator. Yeah. And if I decide to be a content creator later, that's fine, because then I'll have to find new boundaries and new ways to make that work where I can still have my home and my life separate. Yeah. But right now I'm not a content creator. Right now I'm not a furniture reseller. Yeah. Like right now this is what I am, and I'm going to focus on that and make money this way, and I'm going to let everything else be my fulfillment and be my home. Yes. So
did you have like a breaking point that brought you there?
I don't know if it was necessarily a breaking point other than possible exhaustion.
Fair enough.
But I did come to a point, and it was probably last year sometime. And, you know, I have my marker board in my room, and I have this big marker board in my room where I organize everything, and I am not someone who can have a planner, because the planner goes in the backpack and then it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, 100%.
It has to be like in my face. So I have my marker board with everything on it, and I was writing out all the different areas of my life, and then my to-do lists for each area in my life. And I think I looked at that board and I was like, there's too many areas. Like I can't physically get this all done. Yeah. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, so what is going to be prioritized and what is actually making me money? And again, what is that end goal? Yeah. My end goal is to be working from home, having flexible hours, being in control of my schedule, and being in control of my life. And not having anyone over those things, right? Yeah. Other than the Lord. Yeah. But not having anyone over those things. And so for me, that was, okay, let me focus on building what's going to get me there the fastest, which is the businesses I already had. Yeah. That was photography, social media, and Tart and Tonics. And so then I was like, okay, I need to really focus on these things, right? Yeah. And so it wasn't necessarily a breaking point, as maybe like a slow maturity and growth into that.
Sure.
But I do think really like laying it all out on the marker board really helped me visualize exactly how much I had going on, and being realistic with that and being like, this is too much for any single person to handle. And then being like, none of this is making me money. This isn't making me money. This isn't helping me reach my goals. This isn't helping me reach my goals. And I do things in my life that don't make me money, but they help me reach my goals.
Right.
So again, that goes to the fulfillment aspect rather than the money aspect. So
yeah. Just being like ruthless with goals. And I mean, I think it's easy too for like, I am the type of person who I've been hunting Facebook Marketplace for marker boards for that exact reason. But like, it'll stay up here, or even when I get it down somewhere on paper, it'll be like, I don't know what the disconnect is, but it'll be like, okay, I've got it out on paper.
Yeah.
And then sometimes like that's enough, and then I pretend that it got done or whatever, and I'm like, I don't understand how I do that, but I do. And so then there won't be anything that comes to fruition, or I can lay out some great goals, and then I just act like I have all the time in the world to get them done. And I'm like, but you do not, sister friend. And that still becomes like, it still feels a little insurmountable though. And honestly, this is why I feel like I've been stuck in my own kind of figuring out what I'm doing. I do think I'm getting a little bit of direction, which like we can chat about that off camera. But it's been interesting because it has taken a long time. And I think the like kind of forced slowing down of my life, which like was 100% the Lord's hand, has allowed me to get there. But yeah, like if I didn't have entrepreneurial friends like you, and I mean, we have so many other friends who are entrepreneurs, like, and then just people who know how to speak that clearly though, and be like, take a look at what you have on your plate, be realistic about it. Does it make you money? Does it fulfill? And if it doesn't meet those qualifications in the way that you need in your life, get rid of it, you know? So yeah, that's a freaking good word. I'll be editing this later and I'll be like, dang it, and I still haven't done anything I said I was going to do in the episode.
No, I mean, and I think going to what you just said is like, I don't know if, like, most people know what a SMART goal is.
Yeah.
But like, you know, making sure it's specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time.
I think sometimes they just say time, but it means like it has a timeline.
Yeah, it has like a timeline on it. And I like preach that to my girls, but like it's so hard for me to make sure my goals are SMART goals. Because even though a SMART goal is not going to get you anywhere in life, like it's just going to sit on that marker board for the next year, and you're going to realize I never actually did that. And so yeah, I think that really helps a
lot. Yeah, I learned that so much. But even within that vein, like, what's the most fun part of all of this? Like, I mean, entrepreneurship is never a linear journey. So like, and especially because you do have multiple income streams that like are all falling under this umbrella, but like, what's the most fun part of that for you?
I think the most fun, I think, is that I am doing something I'm passionate about and I love doing. Like, there are aspects to every business that like you're gonna hate. I'm terrible at the financial side. I'm terrible at the bookkeeping and the organizing the receipts and the organizing the mileage. And God bless, I have a mother who is an accountant and can like help me with that. Because I genuinely think I would be drowning if not. But I am doing something I'm passionate about. And I am doing something that I genuinely enjoy doing. Photography is fun for me. It's fun. Like, am I like deeply passionate about taking people's senior photos? No. Like, even when I had my own senior photos, I literally could not care less. But like the actual art of photography, I am passionate about, and I do find it very fun. And I find more like enjoyment in working with people. Right? I love meeting new people. I love making people feel confident and making people feel excited about something. I love when I get that text after I send the wedding portraits and they're like, oh my gosh, I love them so much. Like, I'm like, yes. And I think you can find fulfillment really in any job, but the fact that I got to choose what I do.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. And I get to choose what I do every day. And also leading into that, like getting to choose what you do every day. Like, I can go to my friend's house on a Friday morning and hang out with her and her baby and have breakfast. Because I get to make my own schedule. And sometimes like obviously I have to be disciplined on Thursday so that on Friday I can go hang out with my friend.
Right.
I can be here with you on an afternoon and do this. I can go on vacation and kind of just pick when I want to do that.
Yeah.
Right. And so like having that flexibility, obviously, and every entrepreneur will say like you have flexibility over your schedule. And there's some things that I don't have flexibility over. Like I have an event at 6 a.m. Friday morning. I have to go shoot an event at 6 a.m. Friday morning.
Good Lord.
Literally. And like, that's horrendous. Even the owner. There's like a radio station coming to one of my clients' coffee shops, and it's fantastic. But even like it's amazing, and it's an amazing opportunity. But it also means that I have to wake up at 6. I have to wake up at 5.
Yes.
Really, to be ready, get my gear ready, and get there. And so like there are always going to be things that you have to do.
So funny. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like I get to then do whatever I want later Friday because I got up at 6 a.m.
That's right. You're already wide awake.
Exactly. So definitely I think that's like the most fun part of the whole thing is just being in control and also just getting to do something I actually like to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so good because there is so much within the creative world too of it's even back to what we were saying about like don't let every hobby become a hustle.
Yes.
Of like when you can be doing something and I mean there's always times where even things that we really enjoy doing feel like chores. But where like the main overtone of it is like, no, this is genuinely fun.
Literally.
Like
yeah.
I can do this all the time. Like
yes.
I love bright, pretty colors and all the fun things, but I also love people. And so I'm like somewhere down the line, I'm like, maybe it'll be I don't know. For a while, I was like interior design, but then I hate math, and so I was like, I'm not going to school for that.
Yeah,
we need to keep that off the table. But I love hearing people's stories, and I was like, well, if I like have my own podcast, I get to talk to people. I also get to design all the things for social media, which I love. And then like I have a handful of other opportunities that like could also still use those same skills, and so it's just interesting to see what that looks like.
Yeah,
and then be brave enough to be like, yeah, let's like give it a go
and
see if it. And even like the mocktail stand, like I combined some of my favorite things. I love working with my hands and doing something. It is fun to shake the drinks up in a big deli.
Yes.
Like I've always wanted to be a bartender. I'm like, and which like the Southern Baptist supposed to be a bartender, but I'm not really Southern Baptist. Let's be so for real. But I'm like, it scratches that itch a little bit of like, this is a fun thing to do. It is fun to sling a drink and like talk to the people while you're standing there, especially since it's at a festival and like we're all hot as Hades out here, but like we're sweating together. I've got my drink in the back because I also get to make one for myself. And like sometimes I'll combine random flavors that like have no business being together, but they're still good.
So good.
So yes.
Like the band's playing in the background. It's such a vibe.
Yes. Are we doing Main Street again this year?
We are doing Main Street this year.
Thank God. Okay.
I know. It's so fun. I love it.
Like that's worth giving up a portion of your weekend for.
Truly, like I'm like, this is a vibe. I'm trying to get into more music festivals because of that. Like I'm like, I have the ability to schedule events that like I want to be at, and like I'm working them, but I'm also like there. Right. And so like, and that is a huge fun thing. Like a very specific fun thing is that like listening to music, experiencing the festivals and stuff, and like being able to work them. I will say like I have enjoyed having staff so that I can like leave the tent
go around
and make a lap, and that's why I always try to like give you guys the opportunity to like take a lap, go see what's happening. Because that part is so fun. I love that.
Yeah, because like Loki, you get to be in the event, but you didn't have to pay. You are getting paid.
Correct.
Which we love. Which okay, that leads into this too. Like, but what's the most challenging part of all of this?
Oh Lord.
Or one of them.
Staying organized is a big one for me as like a severe ADHD girly. Like just like being focused and organized in general is horrible for me.
Yeah, I'm type AB.
I've been finding like ways that work for me. Like the marker board system works really well.
Yeah.
I've realized that a daily planner doesn't really work for me. But what does work is I have my notebook and I just do to-do lists every day. And so like whatever I didn't get done the day before will get moved to the current day's to-do list, and then any new tasks will get added. And I just work the to-do list, and I've stuck to that pretty consistently for several months now, and that works really well for me. And so just finding processes that work for your brain, because just because they work in theory does not mean they work for your brain.
Speak on it.
And so like that has definitely been challenging for sure. And then staying organized on like the financial side again, like my mom being the accountant is always like, this is how you do it properly. And I'm like, I'm trying
Right.
I'm trying so hard. But I also have things automated for me to help with that.
Yeah.
I have like an app that tracks my mileage, and it tracks. I have it turned on so it tracks everything, which is a little sketchy, but it tracks.
Right, I know it does that for me too.
So I just like go back in later, and I can like be like, oh, that was a personal drive. This was a business drive. And that really helps because it's automated. I don't have to think about it until I want to think about it and I want to deal with it. And then physically organize is a big one. Like, where did I put that receipt? Like, where did I leave that thing? And usually I know that that receipt is located under 10 books on my desk on the left. And if you lift it up, you will find an Ingalls receipt. And I know that it's there. And is that the best way to do things? Obviously not. But that is how we are operating. Yep. That is how we're operating realistically. And then I do have places where things go long term. Yeah. So on the days that I am feeling productive, I am feeling organized, I have systems that I will clean up and get everything where they need to go. Yep. But
so we can start back with the receipts under the books next.
Correct. But I think that's a really important thing is like I have systems, and when I am feeling motivated, those systems will get cleaned up and organized. Yep. So that on the days where I'm just not there mentally, I know that like it's fine because I will feel motivated the next day and we will get right back on track. Like, if you never set up those systems initially, then on the days where you're feeling motivated, you just feel flustered and you're like, I'm so motivated right now and I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's happened.
That's a good point.
So, like, just having initial systems set up so that when you're motivated, you have something to do on those days.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely helps.
Yeah, because truly, like, there's nothing worse than having the energy to do something and then not knowing what on earth you need to do.
Correct. Yeah.
Because there's too much on the table and you don't have some hierarchy of what you know needs to probably get done, and then you just kind of like space. Yes. And you're like, well, I'm motivated, but I'm also motivated to like watch TV or something.
Right? Well, and that's what happens. It's like if you're motivated and then you don't know what to do with that motivation, you just feel defeated.
Yes.
And it's like we don't want to turn motivation into defeat immediately because we didn't have a system in place.
Yeah, that's just self-sabotage.
Correct.
And it comes back to bite you down the road.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what honestly gets me so many times. So you've mentioned the Lord throughout all of this too. So like, give us a little like, you know, baby bite-sized bit of like your own testimony, but like, how's that kind of, you know, just naturally flowed into business? I mean, and you've told me many times, but like God has shown up often for you in business.
Yes. So just like a short little like mini testimony is that we didn't start going to church till I was in middle school. And so I came to Christ at church camp, like pretty normal Christian testimony. But I didn't really know the Lord. I can say I didn't really like know the Lord's character or the Lord's place in my life until I was 18. And so I briefly mentioned like my dad left when I was 18. And I went on a mission trip that summer. My mentor at the time was like, you really just need to get out of this. You need to get out of this headspace. You need to get out of your house for a little bit. Why don't you come with us on a mission trip this summer and just kind of experience something new? And so I went on a mission trip, and on that mission trip, I had a headache. And I was so hot. I was so miserable. We were in Nicaragua, and like I had this headache, and it wouldn't go away. And I remember just being in the shower and being like, Lord, I'm here serving you. I was so entitled, my goodness. I was like, I'm here serving you. I'm here doing your work, and you can't even take a headache away? Like, what? And I remember him so clearly, and I feel like the Lord talks to us in the ways we need to be spoken to. And he was so sarcastic, and he was like, did you even ask me to take it away? And I was like, oh,
got me.
Oh. And so I was like, hey, Lord, so I was wondering if you could take this away. And then sure enough, it was gone. Like I had this migraine all day and it was gone. I got out of the shower and I remember like running to the team in the hospital and being like, hey guys, my headache's gone. The Lord's good. And so how that kind of leads into now is that I have learned that the Lord really does love me, care for me. And he is listening when I ask for things. And that doesn't necessarily mean I'm always going to get it, but I at least know that he's listening. It's kind of like having like a figure in your life where you're like, I know that they may not give me what I want, you know, a good parent, a good teacher, a good mentor. They may not give me what I want, but I do know that I'm being heard when I ask. And when I speak, I'm being heard and I'm being listened to, and that's being taken under consideration. And so there's been so many times, and like it's happened twice now recently, where I was like, okay, I want to quit this side hustle. I want to quit this thing that's not helping me get close to my goals, Lord.
Yeah.
Will you bring me a new client? And the Lord brought me a new client the next day. Like, I'm literally not even joking. Like, the next day, someone called me and was like, hey, I'm looking for someone to do my social media. And that was, like, so phenomenal. That has not happened every time.
Sure.
Like, don't let me lead people astray. I mean, like, if you just ask, the Lord will bring you business.
Right.
Like, that's not always the case. But he is faithful to listen to those needs. And if it's the right timing and it's his will in that moment, he's going to bring that to you. And, like, also taking into consideration, like, if we're praying for things that are not ultimately for our good and we don't get those things, just being like, maybe that's not the direction the Lord wanted us to take in this.
Yeah.
So being honest with ourselves and being like, hey, I prayed for another face painting job, even though I know that doesn't help me reach my goals right now.
Yeah.
Like, and I didn't get it.
Shout out to the Lord for hearing that.
Yeah, right.
No.
Exactly. And so, like, the Lord has just been so faithful in my life, and I don't always remember that, and it's not always an easy thing to remember.
It's true.
It's not always an easy thing to fall back to.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna ask me how the Lord's been faithful, he just has. Like, he's always been there, and he has brought me to a place where I'm paying my bills off of my income that I'm making on my own.
Yeah.
Right. That's where I'm at right now. And could I be making more? Yes, but I'm not going to discount his faithfulness because I'm not bringing in 5 figures a year, 6 figures, 7 figures a year. Right.
Yep.
Like, I'm not going to, like, put a number on it and be like, when I'm making $400,000 a year, the Lord's been faithful. Right. My bills are paid. There's food on my table. The Lord's been faithful.
Amen.
So,
yeah. Yes. Yeah. Cause I feel like too, and I mean, you've talked about this also through this, like, because you are a people person, there's so much of, like, the support system you have so far behind the scenes, like, even outside of your mom, of just other really amazing people in your corner who it seems like have just helped provide that solid foundation. Like, what do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? Because always our personal lives spill into our professional lives in some capacity, even if it's just the attitude we carry into it.
Yeah, I think, like, a big thing, and I tell my girls this too, is that everyone's like, oh, it's not personal, it's business. And what I tell my girls, it is always personal. It is always personal. It is never just business.
Yeah.
And I am so, so blessed to have such an incredible support system, both from my old job. Like, so many of my old coworkers are now my clients, or are now people who send business my way, or call me when they need something, or call me when they need something, and they know that, like, you know, it's a two-way street.
Absolutely.
And it goes to that relational equity point we kind of talked about earlier. It's like, you can't be like, I can't expect people to send me clients my way if I'm not sending them business, right? And so looking from a business standpoint, it's kind of like, you can't always be the one asking for the cup of sugar. Like, sometimes you have to be the one giving the cup of sugar, right? You have to be the neighbor. You have to be the villager. You can't be part of a village if you're not willing to be a villager. And so in business, it's the same thing. Like, if I know that there's something or a client or something I can send somebody else's way, I'm definitely going to do that, because I also know on the other side, they're going to do that for me. And also being like, sometimes, like, it goes to the point of, like, sometimes somebody can't afford my services, and so I will find a way to make it work for them, because that relational equity is worth it to me. And just being thankful and grateful, and seeing how people, it's so easy to, like, focus on just the business aspect, and just be like, I need to focus on money, I need to focus on bringing business. It's so easy to get caught up in that and forget that, like, blessings are given to be shared, and, like, being like, how can I bring other people in on this? And, like, my goal has always been to employ my friends. Like, my goal has always been to be an employer, to help other people. And just being able to, like, even on, like, the few days that it's like, oh, I have, like, a couple of days this summer, you can work with me, or a few jobs for Lizzie, or a few jobs for, you know, some younger kids in our community that I'm able to bring in and mentor a little bit. And just being a villager. It's really about being a villager at the end of the day. And, like, if that's not what you want, and you're not there for relationships, then you can just, like, push your way through and be super wealthy. But at the end of the day, it's like, who's going to be there for you? Who is your community? Because it's a rough world out there.
It sure is.
And business can be super lonely sometimes. Like, there are days where I am alone all day long in my house. Like,
yeah.
just me and my computer chugging along.
Yep.
And it's lonely, but like, then I get a phone call from one of my clients, and it's not just a phone call from one of my clients.
Right.
It's a call from a friend who maybe the call is about business, but like, you know, and so just even those little things, those little glimpses into like the daily blessings of just being like, yeah, I got a call from Stacy, and yeah, it was about work, but like in that I had a time of connection. So
yes. Yeah. I guess it's about knowing where you want your ultimate wealth to come from, which like we know, like in, you know, on one hand it's what the Lord provides, but also it's he provides all these opportunities to, and I mean, the Lord lives in community. It's the Trinity. Like they're one, but they're three. And so much of scripture is modeled around like you need to have people. You can't do it without having everyone with you, because otherwise like you're just gonna die out here in the desert.
Literally
walking around. Like, oh no. Yeah, because it seems like one of the, I think on social media it's hard to see where the community is coming in, because a lot of big influencers that I see, like you can check and see who they follow. And so depending on the size of their following, a lot of times I'm like, they're probably actually friends with this person, or like you see them show up on each other's pages, whatever. But if those people also don't have some community outside of even their own, because their social media is their business world. Yeah. Like, how are they going to make it? Yeah. And I think in the age of the kind of YouTube rise and fall, from like starting in like when YouTube came around, which was like what, 2008, 2009, maybe it was earlier than that, I can't remember. To like back when YouTube yearly recaps used to actually be cool. And like I think the last good one was like 2015 or 2016. I miss those. They were great because there was this whole little like conglomerate of people who had like found their community, but so many fell off after everyone and their mother became a YouTuber. Yep. And I'm like, that sucks, because you built your whole world here. Yeah. And like, did you have any world, you know, out here at all? Yeah. And so there's only been a few that I've seen where I'm like, oh, I think you actually made it, you know, in some capacity, which is, you know, good for you. But yeah, and in small town world, I feel like we need the community even more so than the big city. Obviously they still need it too, but it's just, it looks different across the board. It looks so different. And so much of it is just being a good person. Like, so much of being an entrepreneur is just being a good person. Like, my favorite thing is when I'm like working in a coffee shop and like a little old man will come up to me, and this happened to us. That actually, now I'm thinking about it, actually happened to us last time we were at Southern Stream. Yes. And like a little old man, and this happens all the time. Like, old people just like gravitate towards me. Like, they'll see I'm on a computer and they're like, she knows what to do. She knows about technology. And they'll just come up to me, and just like being able to take 5 minutes and like help them with something. Or like I'll have, you know, my students will be like, hey, Miss Savannah, like, how do you handle this? Or how do you do this? Like, just being a good person and like taking time for others, that ultimately brings in business. Like, it really does. Like, because you become a trusted part of the community. Yes. Right. And people trust you, that at the end of the day, like, I personally, I would rather hire, like, pay more for somebody that is gonna that I trust, and I know that their workmanship is of higher quality, not because necessarily they're better at their job, but because they're gonna take the extra time to do a good job, right? Yeah. They have, you know, respect for themselves and respect for their work. And so just being a good person and being a part of the community, and like also making sure you're taking time for community is so hard. Like, I missed so much church last year because I just felt like I was so pressured. I always have, there's always something to do. Like, there's always going to be something to do. And so like on a Thursday night, I'm always like, I'm too busy, I can't go to church. And then this year my goal has just been like really focused on like, make time to go to church. Yeah, like, definitely hustle harder on Thursday morning, or hustle harder on Wednesdays. Yeah. Or make sure your Friday is organized so you get the work done. Like, and so, and whatever that looks like, if your church is Sunday mornings or Saturdays or whatever, if your community time, if you're not someone who goes to church, just making sure you have some sort of community. And just knowing that, like, even if you're someone who's like, every moment has to be productive, if that's in your brain and you're still working on that, know that community time is productive. Yes. Like, if that's something, it's not like an immediate like brain shift of being like,
if you're someone who thinks that everything has to be productive, just forget about that. Just no, community time is productive. So just like having that in mind too. Yeah.
Yes, it's producing something totally different in your soul.
Yes, 100%.
Because you need some soul rest too, not just like physical, though that's great. Which is why like rotting in bed doesn't always help.
No, it doesn't. It's so bad.
Like 9 times out of 10, I feel way worse actually.
100%.
Like, it's sad because I love being in bed, but like it doesn't work. Like, and so getting out and doing stuff, which I've had to really pull myself out of too, because I'm also bad to be like, no, I have this list of things I want to get done. And because my weeks are broken up now where like the bulk of my work is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and it's all of my day really is in this house with these 2 really sweet children. But like I don't really have time to do much of anything else. Every now and then I can bring my laptop, and prayerfully if the baby sleeps beside me on the floor for his nap, or like part of his nap, I can crank out a little bit of stuff. But like my attention is just taken. And so I have to be like mindful, like even tomorrow with classes, like I already know, like I got my stuff done on Friday to kind of get myself organized, but as soon as class is in, I have a phone call with somebody, and then I've got to work on grading all of their homework, and then I've got to work on editing the episode that I recorded last week, and like start to get things going again so I have stuff to put out. But like knowing that having time off in a way is also so helpful. I mean, it just provides longevity. So which is so good. Do you have anything else you want to add? That was like the end of our question.
I mean, I think we covered like everything.
We really did.
I like said so much that wasn't an answer to a question, so like
which is great.
Everything got covered.
yes. We had like literally just the whole broad sweep. Savannah, where can we find you?
So we can find me through 2 routes. Savannah Michele Imaging. So it's at Savannah Michele Imaging, SavannahMicheleImaging.com. There's 1 L in Michelle because it's French and fancy. And then if you want to grab a mocktail, Tart and Tonics. I'm the only Tart and Tonics. There's like no one else with that name, which is shocking. Now that I've said that, no one steal it.
No, trademark. Really, but like
but Tart and Tonics, Instagram, Facebook. I usually try to post where we'll be located. Sometimes it's last minute, and I'm not super good about that. I should be better as a social media manager. My social media always winds up being on the back burner. But so just find me there if you need social media, if you need photography, if you want a lemonade.
Yes.
Maybe find Jessica behind the lemonade.
You will find me behind the lemonade. You will, especially over the summer. So all those things will be linked in the show notes below. And yes, please, for real, reach out to Savannah if you need any photography needs or anything else like that. And on that note, have a great week. If I have anything to post, it'll be on Instagram because I'm also terrible with my social media, but we're working on it. And that'll be at the Honestly Jess Show, which it'll be linked below. And until the next episode, y'all be good.